why are you not at work?
Man, why should I? It's Saturday.
It's Friday.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, this you crazy mother.
Stress is present everywhere and every time in different forms and situations. And there is physiological as well as psychological stress, whereas both are of course interconnected. But this video will focus on chronic psychological stress and its effects. What is stress actually? The definition says that stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. What we basically get out of this definition is that we always have an event happening in our life which may result in specific symptoms different from person to person. Events, of course, can be literally anything. Birth, death, floods, pandemics, wars, and social stressors as well, like for example holding a presentation. But what's important to mention in this context is that the event itself is actually not causing stress. And this is maybe what's a bit unclear in the definition. Adverse or demanding circumstances, as it says, happen to each of us, yet individuals respond differently to them. Let's take two people living in the exact same circumstances. The same company, same job, same boss, and they are both stuck in traffic and too late. One of them will get really stressed about it, while the other one maybe not. So what I want to bring close to you is that not the event, but the response to the event is crucial. That's very important, so keep that in mind. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Victor. I try to combine science and fitness with the goal to give you the best of both, so don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to stay up to date. Every subscriber is appreciated, and if you have any questions, just write it down in the comments below. Before we can talk about the physical symptoms, we must understand what happens on a biochemical and also psychological level, as all the symptoms we experience due to chronic stress happen in our brains. When an event happens, our sensory organs register the stimuli, and this information is sent to the nervous system or brain. And from there, we experience a physiological response, as the brain sends the information to the parts of the body where we need it. So both the body and brain react to the situation. In our brains and most mammal brains, two major systems respond to stress-inducing stimuli. First of all, the autonomic nervous system, which mediates a primary immediate response, and secondly, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal gland axis. The ANS is a division of the peripheral nervous system and controls and regulates bodily functions such as digestion, heart and respiratory rate, urination, and so on. And it's deeply interconnected with the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, which mediates the fight or flight response. The ANS is regulated inter alia via sensory neurons, therefore its reaction is always very fast. The HPA axis, in turn, links the nervous system to the endocrine system, which is responsible in releasing hormones influencing your metabolism. Hereby, a major hormone which is released is cortisol, which suppresses immune system function, increases blood sugar levels, and is associated with impaired memory, concentration, and so on, and it activates the sympathetic nervous system, that means the fight or flight response. The problem is that your hormonal household and your bodily functions are usually in balance. And what stress and cortisol at the end of the day does is that it disrupts a normal regulatory function. I have to say, on a short term, this is definitely helpful. You force your body basically to change or avoid the stress-inducing situation. If you see a bear running after you, your autonomic nervous system will make you move, which is necessary to survive. But here comes the problem. Nowadays, we usually do not have to run away from bears or tigers anymore. And we also do not have to risk our lives hunting animals. Nowadays, our biggest fears are not physical anymore. They are psychological and especially psychosocial. This is the new source of stress. To-do lists, appointments, even game tasks you need to accomplish, and of course, social media. And not only the thing itself, but just being constantly surrounded by it. So we basically lose the ability to turn off the fight or flight response, leading to chronic stress conditions. That's the downside of our complex brains, and that makes us different from animals. A bear isn't stressed while he eats you, but when you are eating him, you are, because you just remembered that you have to respond to your emails as fast as possible. Animals act out of their natural intuition and their hormonal response in the moment the event is happening. And that's what we should integrate more into our lives without overthinking, and we should stop putting us consciously or unconsciously into stressful situations. In a future video, I will talk about practical methods for stress relief in our new society, so don't forget to click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. What do all of these dysregulations in the brain and the released stress hormones do to us on a physiological level? As cortisol and adrenaline are released in stressful situations, they travel through the blood system, bind to specific receptors in the heart, where they increase the heartbeat and the blood pressure, which causes hypertension. Cortisol promotes plaque formation on the vessel walls, increasing the chance for strokes and atherosclerosis. Both strongly promote the chance for heart failure and coronary artery diseases. They are definitely a very dangerous combination. Same with the respiratory system, where especially acute stress can induce panic attacks, which just adds up to the already existing chronic stress. Cortisol also plays a role in the digestion system. On the one hand, it negatively affects gut motility as less blood flows to the inner organs and therefore more to the brain and extremities. Hereby, food bypasses faster, which explains diarrhea many people experience when they are really stressed. On the other hand, the microbiome is affected, killing the good bacteria and leading to immunity dysfunctions. Also, you will probably be more hungry and gain weight through that, as ghrelin is upregulated and leptin is downregulated, both responsible in the appetite. Furthermore, there is evidence that chronic stress is able to change your genes and your gene expression via epigenetic modifications. And this was confirmed in survivors of the Holocaust. Compared to a control group, they showed altered gene patterns. And not only them, but their kids as well. And what's even more shocking, their grandchildren also. And this just emphasizes the impact stress has on us and even on further generations. Additionally, the immune system is downregulated, making you more susceptible for getting sick, and DNA repair mechanisms are negatively affected as well. And connections between stress and cancer are confirmed already a long time ago. Another effect of stress is its impact on the musculoskeletal system. There are connections between chronic muscle tension in neck and shoulders with headache and migraine. And you are more prone to injury as recovery, anabolism slows down while catabolism increases. Cognitive dysfunctions like problems with the memory or concentration are also common symptoms due to inflammations and the activation of the sympathetic nervous system. Sleep quality and quantity also decreases due to released glucocorticoids. And if you want to learn more how to improve sleep quality naturally, check the link above. Lastly, the reproductive system of men and women are influenced by the nervous system. Testosterone production and libido suffer a lot during ongoing stress and can cause erectile dysfunctions or even impotence. Sperm motility as well as morphology also change in a negative way. Women often experience changes in the length of the menstruation, irregularities, or more painful periods. Regarding pregnancies, an increased likelihood of developing depression or anxiety and a negative impact on fetal health and child development might also stand in direct relation to stress. It's very important to me that you not only understand that chronic stress has a negative impact on your life, but that you also transfer this knowledge into your life. You maybe won't feel the impact of chronic stress right now, neither tomorrow or next week. But if you really want to improve your life quality and quantity, you must do something actively against the constant stress-inducing factors we are surrounded by. But more to that in another video. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something new about the effects of stress on body and mind. Stay healthy and see you next time.